All right, cool. What's up, guys? Grand Rising. Let's see over here. You guys can hear me loud and clear, yeah? I appreciate you guys. I see we're flooding in here. Appreciate everyone that's liking the stream so far. I know a lot of you are subbed, sharing, letting them know we're live. We are live. All right, cool. Good stuff, guys. All right, we're going to dive right in this morning. How are you guys feeling? Let's do a little quick gratitude check, a little vibe check. We are alive. No guarantees. You guys already know. No guarantees ever. So, feeling good. We got the morning run locked in already as well. So that's always a blessing. All right, let's get this going here. Shout out to y'all. I see you guys dropping some posts already in the morning here. Feliz Martes, Rosemary, Buenos Dias, Jenny. So, from what I noticed, it's kind of funny. But I don't know, Latin America, a little happier in the mornings than Americans over here. Europeans, you guys are already going through your day. So, I don't know what's up. But yeah, shout out to everyone all over the world plugging in. I think we usually have just about all over the globe locked in here. So it's really, really cool to see. Let me know what continent, what country are you here from? What side of the world? Puerto Rico's in here. I know we got, looks like Germany's in here. ¿Qué tal, Carlos? Isaiah, the East Coast. Samuel. Fantastic. Who we got here? Some setups. Hero GVP and Rafa. That's clean. Sweep of liquidity. The demand up here isn't the best, I'll be honest. We get above these highs, and we're kind of struggling to trade higher. So I don't necessarily love this setup. I'd probably have to get another look at that. Now, if you're relating the inverted fair value gap here, then definitely check out the Smart Money Playbook. Actually, you know what? I don't know if it's on here yet. So make sure you guys are checking that out. Guys, if you're not in the classroom, if you're not in our community here, it's totally free. So I don't know what you're doing. Y'all should be in here for sure. I'm sure Nance at some point will drop a invite link in here. So, but yeah, make sure you're going to the classroom. If you're kind of newer to trading, go to the Traders Launchpad. If you are, wanting to get a better understanding how to build the system, understand smart money, make sure you're going through here as well in order. And then when you guys do this, as you go through different series and you go, even then you can earn your way into the vault. So once you hit level 3 in the community, you guys can go ahead and start going through some of this. Not all of this is uploaded quite yet, but you do have quite a lot of value in here. Just tons and tons and tons of information. And this will definitely help you develop on the psychology side of things. And so as the weeks go by, I'll start uploading because it does take a lot. We'll get that locked and loaded as well. So, yeah, cool. So we'll start looking at the charts here. Happy Tuesday, everyone. What's up, Mike? You got Puccini, Amy, Edgar, Michael. What's good? Luke's. Where's the syndicate squad at here? What's up, Joe, DeAndre, Edwin, Xavier, Tarantino, what's up? En español en el salón. So if you are a Spanish speaker, si están aquí en español, aquí también pueden ver, miren, tienen su sección Tradeitopia Español por aquí, right there. All right, cool. So let's dive into some of these setups. Let's see what's going on with these markets right now. Wow. Talk about pequeño. He said pequeño. Talk about a epic movement. I'm actually a little bummed because I sniped a Nasdaq buy here yesterday, right down here. After it swept the liquidity, we got a quick shakeout, and then I took it up to like maybe over here. I think maybe like 80 points or something. It was a good setup, but wow, look at that, guys. 600 plus point move. Amazing, absolutely amazing. So we finally cross over here. We clear out these higher time frame liquidities. So let's take a higher time frame perspective on, kind of what we have going on. So we've seen Nasdaq start trading into February's price action right over here. So we're definitely starting to see an imbalance fill. We see Dow Jones as well play right up into the highs of June 25. So Dow hasn't quite cleared all of this liquidity. Dow isn't quite up to this standard. And remember, guys, if you, depending on your quality of Wi-Fi internet, you can be watching this stream in 1440p. Actually, it looks like it's kind of dropping the frames a little bit. Huh. Why is that? All right. Let me see. Let me check something out here. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. Looks like we should be doing much better now. Okay. So we've now, we've worked our way up here, and let me actually pull up just the actual YM contract, not the micros. But yeah, we took out the highs here from June. We traded up to this level, so we're still within this range. We haven't the last time we were trading up in here in March, etc. We give you guys the bigger time frame, and this right here shows us, and because of the contract, this is going to look a lot different. So I could just pull up a more of a continuous flow here, but we're starting to clear a lot of liquidity that's been sitting here for months and months on end, and trading over into that March, February price action. Nasdaq trading into that February 21st imbalance. So we are looking at some areas where the market could start to reverse. We don't want to jump the gun too much. So, 1 sec. Okay, there we go. All right, so we want to make sure that if we are going to get signs for reversals, and if we are going to see either mitigation setups for shorts or shakeout setups, then we want to make sure that it's at key areas. So, for example, when I look for the market to give us big time reversals, first, for example, right now and I'll pull up, we have Dow Jones and we have Nasdaq here. What did we saw? We saw both of these get beyond the highs, right? We saw both of these, and then now I'm going to go towards the present contract. But we saw both of these kind of clear these previous highs. Nasdaq specifically clears here, the range that we've been in. So Nasdaq has already kind of gotten the job done, if you will. Cleared out that higher time frame. Dow, not quite. Hasn't quite cleared above these highs from Wednesday, June 11th. So when I look at this, and we're looking at reversals, since Nasdaq has already cleared liquidity up here, sometimes we see the price action start to go more bearish on whatever has already cleared the higher time frames of liquidity, whereas Dow, it still might want to push a little bit higher. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that there. And then I'm sure you guys are noticing we've seen tons of massive movement to the upside. So there's imbalance here. from this move with speculation yesterday between, peace, the cease agreement with Iran, Israel, and then just more and more development of that kept pushing the market higher and higher. And then same thing goes here with Dow Jones. So we're looking at the market here continuing to push further and further to the upside. Now, once we start to get a little bit more detail, which is what we're seeing right now. Now, look, we have New York open here in just 10 minutes. The audio is going in and out still, or is it better now? Let me know if it's better now. Okay. Fixed logo, just reset YouTube. Better. All right, perfect. So I'm noticing here kind of a buildup of liquidity across the board as we go into smaller and smaller time frames. I noticed that we see this during Asian session, a spike down, and then the market actually rallies. So Dow looks like he tagged into this specific move right there. See that? So it looks like we tap in here with Dow Jones after the market rally. So we see it come up, come right back down. The market doesn't really trade up here for too long. So it kind of sets up this this move over here. Better. Okay. I'm glad. We work our way down instantly. We start to trade down here. We're still seeing kind of more bullish structure. So I'm not quite convinced that we're going to start selling off yet. We're kind of just ranging in this zone. We do see a big pump up here as well. So right here we see the market. And now this is London session, right? London session kicks things off here. And then we see an influx of momentum. So we see definitely market. There's buy positions that open up here. Intentionally push the market even higher. With that move right there. So this to me looks like we kind of close out the sell-off and then we keep pushing. Okay. And if we look at the same areas here with NASDAQ, so let's get a bit more detail here. Same areas here with NASDAQ. Jesus. Then you have this right there. Nice little sweep to the downside. So NASDAQ didn't have this fill. I'm curious to see if we get down here and we can see a position in this area. So very, very open to seeing kind of what we have here. Let me make sure we have the right one. All right, perfect. Buen dia todos. What's up, guys? So how are you guys seeing the market today? What's on your radar? What's your perspective here? Are we looking to continue to buy, even though we're already up pretty high in this range, right? We're already up pretty high in this range. Can we, do we want to keep buying? Are we just going to stay patient for a short? Now, I'm just giving you the most recent range. Now, if we zoom out some more, we can go look at other ideas, which I will look at as well. But before I do that, I just wanted to tackle on what we have in the present. So right now, we do see the market down. And then on the smallest of time frames here with NASDAQ, we do have this move here. See the market pick up momentum, sweep the highs. We can kind of see the market starts pushing from right there. And we see everything short. So you can even, if we want to go into the smaller time frame and even see 15-second time frame here, you see the market start to pick up some momentum right there. Here's where we see the sweep to the high. So whether you mark it up here Then we go to the present. Here's where we're at. So it looks like we're already kind of rejected this area. The market then worked its way lower. We trade down here a bit here. We lose momentum, comes back up. We lose momentum, come right back up. So right now, if you guys were to say, okay, which one of these setups are a bit more bullish? I mean, Dow right now is starting to trade above all of these zones. So Dow looks like it has a bit more momentum to the upside compared to NASDAQ here. And then if we look at Dow on the 1 minute time frame, we see here right at 7:30, market spikes down, clears that liquidity, taps into this zone, and then starts pushing to the upside here. So this gives you, here you can see just with more clarity where the sell-off begins. And then maybe it rejects and comes a little bit higher as well. So let's see what this looked like. Depending on what and how these moves, like how this unfolds, then I'm open to, and again, it's going to depend a lot on if we actually trade down here. But if we stay down here a bit longer, then I could be interested in shorting over here. So I'm going to have an open mind here. There is a chance that we may be looking at shorts over here, kind of in this zone. But I do want to see a bit more bearish proof before I would want to short anything. Because right now there's definitely just more demand on the upside. So, okay, this is obviously just looking at the range that we're in. If we zoom out some more, then, you know, a lot of this changes. Because we want to be ready for anything. We want to be ready for anything. And what we do know is that we had these epic setups here. Did anyone catch, let me know in the chat, did anyone catch the buys here? I got into GU last night, but it went past my stop. I did reduce risk, though, at least. Okay. So, why'd you take GBP USD? If we were looking at different assets, basically, based on what I teach you guys, at least, between correlation and divergence, why take GBP USD? Huh. My stuff is dropping a lot more today than it was yesterday. Let's see. My net entry was lower. Okay. So right now, I think we still have options over here. If we zoom in, so what we can do, we have New York open in about a minute, but basically the market at some point I do think will give us more opportunity way down here. How long it takes, that's a different question. So, but we definitely we'll be able to work our way into something here. So let's see what this setup may look like. Let's go into the smaller time frames, see what this is looking like. Dow's starting to drop pretty aggressively right now. So let's see which one makes more sense. I'm open-minded with indices right now. I think I might actually wait to see, because we might be taking NASDAQ instead, honestly. So let's keep our eyes open here, keep our eyes peeled. All right, we're seeing it start to reject a little bit. Wow, there's popping off. Dow played right off the open of that little zone. Not too bad. Now let's just say that NASDAQ works its way down. I would be looking for a setup there. And then I want to make sure I have the right contracts set up for that. Here. So this to me looks like trendline liquidity. So if we get into this area right here, I'd be looking to take about 3 contracts. So we got into this zone here with Dow quickly. Came in here. It looks like this is also kind of building up liquidity as well. So I'm not rushing into being in the market. We have news. Remember, we have news in 30 minutes as well with the dollar. So that'll definitely influence indices on top of the majors. So this is building up liquidity on both ends. Do you guys see how this is luring in sellers, retail here, and then retail? So you have buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity. You have both ends here building up some money. We have Dow now going up even more. So this to me actually looks more like not even a mitigation, to be honest. This just looks like it just is building up more and more buyers. So I'm going to basically stay relatively neutral at the moment. I'm not really leaning in any direction. Let's let the market come to us here. And then while the market's doing all that, look at this. Now, NAS, look at, there's a massive difference here, right? NASDAQ's trading way down here. YM's trading way over here. So let me make sure I just have the right stuff here set up. Building up more and more money here. If we were to get Dow to drop back down to this range, and then NASDAQ gets into this range, then I would take the buys. Entonces, si Dow baja primero y después llega aquí NASDAQ, compraría. Si no, entonces pues me quedo pendiente. Okay, so we'll let that do its thing. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot. I had NZD-USD on my radar. And I think probably by now it's probably already done its thing. Yep, there it goes. Ah, that's unfortunate. This is the exact trade I wanted. So, I mean, did anyone take this? I talked about this yesterday. This one I went over exactly what we were looking for. We can probably pull that up here from yesterday's stream. I'd have to timestamp and go look through it. But we were looking at the difference between GU Euro, Australian, and both Australian and NZD kind of get into this zone. But to give you guys the perspective and how I make my choice, basically we were trading out of FOMC. FOMC and then FOMC's, not for GU, but for everything else. But FOMC, was it FOMC? No, it was Monday's move. And then So for Euro and GU, they were actually getting to last Monday's price action, whereas NGD, USD, and AUD UNZ were trading on the FOMC interest rates, that move right there. So once we got back to this level, Australian dollar gets to this zone first, rejects it right away. But when that happens, NZD does not quite get there. NZD doesn't get to this level. It trades out of the previous structure. So when I woke up, I saw a price around here that had just kind of tagged into it. And this was now the green light. And so I was running while this came back into the zone and then sold off. So as you guys can notice here, you see the move to the upside during this FOMC. It goes up about 22 pips, and this has now officially pushed down beyond that. So mitigation setup, we see the exchange from buyers to sellers. And yeah, this one's running a little over a 1-to-1 at this point. So if you were, I guess, dialed in, unlike me, then yeah, you have a good one right there. Have this one roll through. There's a lot of imbalance that this could target. So just trading into this zone, maybe even over here, makes sense if you're going to keep shorting this. Now, with all that being said, I remembered why I actually didn't take that. I had forgotten. The reason, all right, okay, I remember now. I was like, why did I not do that? The reason I didn't take it was because of USD CAD. So USD CAD, same thing, FOMC, it sweeps these lows, plays out of the imbalance, it makes higher highs, but then it builds liquidity here, and we haven't gotten back to this level. So we still have a USD CAD setup here. That's why I was still waiting for this one. So I'm looking for a possible play on USD CAD for a buy. And then this setup here looks like, if you guys take a look, you'll see there's support right around this zone. A lot of key reversal areas here. In the past, we've seen a lot of resistance, support. So just a lot of key levels right around here. Tons. So that's why I'm looking at an entry right around here. Say 1.3674. And then I would look to take this into this imbalance, like right around there. We're looking at right around a 4R for a trade like this. So if you want this setup, make sure you're in the community. I'm going to post this setup there. All right, so we have the Tradetopia trades. And then June 24, 2025. So USD CAD. And then for futures, this is 6C. Canadian futures. When we look up Canadian futures, right, we're at the contracts of the present is 6CU. And then here is a bit more perspective. My bad. Went too crazy. Wilding out. Okay, here we go. So we got basically right there, that these FOMC levels. Sell out of there. All right. So I'm gonna wait this one out. See if we get there when we get there. But that's my take on the majors. What do you guys think? How are you guys looking at dollar pairs, etc.? Do you have different setups? I took NZD. Nice, Daniel. Caught London high shorts. Well done, Will. Let's get it. What's up, PG? Had my limit for odd set higher, so I didn't trigger. Can I look at gold? Yeah, I can look at gold. Hola, what's up, Dylan? Sell zone cerca. Dow Daddy in the house. Yeah, that's crazy. Dow Daddy in the house. All right, so yeah, you guys can check that out. This is gonna be. I'm gonna be updating this. So say. All right, so you guys will know. This will just get updated here. So here is 6C. All right, I'll just add to this throughout the time, and then let's see. Drop your setups below. All right, cool. Also, now since it's right there, tomorrow we're going to be having a epic, massive announcement on the Tradetopia retreat. This is our first one for the year, so regardless of where you're at in the world, make sure that you're here. It should be, if it's not already, in the calendar here on the Tradetopia calendar. But tomorrow at 4 p.m. California time, 6 p.m. Chicago time, Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then we're talking about a little bit later, but like around 1 a.m. We wanted to make it somehow slightly possible for those of you in Europe to be on, but we'll be going over the destination, what the retreat will look like, just break it all down for you guys. It's going to be epic, so make sure you're there. For some of you, I know, if you want to know kind of what it's like, then go to my YouTube or Nancy's, and you'll see that the last video uploaded was just a dope video. It was about a 30-minute video of the last one that we did in Puerto Rico. So go check it out. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, we'd love to see you guys there. Okay, so we're seeing indices. And Dow is now trading way up into the zone very, very aggressively. I could see NASDAQ shorting from this area since it's going up a lot slower. So this started to sell off or pump. We see the buy start going right around here. And then we do work our way below these lows. We trade here for some time. So if we're going to get a sell-off, I do think it's more likely that we short out of NASDAQ than Dow. I mean, either one looks okay. So with this, the market does trade down here despite it not wanting to go even lower. So if you want to do a short with this type of setup, I totally understand. You'd be looking at around a 25-point stop. So, you're looking at, give or take, let's see what's going on here. So I like to sell. Let me know what you guys think here. I see the short here. Oh, I just took it on my Top Step account. Let's see if I can squeeze in here. Now it's right out of my range. So if I just snuck in right over there, if we get right back over here, then I can take it. Otherwise, the risk reward kind of starts to diminish quite a bit. So I am in this on my Top Step account, but a little bit of a lag here going into it on the Apex and then on my personals. So let's see if I'll sneak in here, because then I can throw a few contracts at this bad boy. But look at this. Dow already rejecting. This is a mitigation already on Dow. 39 points. we're seeing Dow instantly reject this zone. Look at that, 39 points. NASDAQ a bit slower. This is about a 30-point push to the upside for NASDAQ. Right now, we've only seen about a 20-point move. Looks like Dow is taking a much more aggressive push to the downside here. Very, very interesting. Still no mitigation completely on NASDAQ, but NASDAQ is just trading a lot lower anyways. So I'm on the lookout here. Since NASDAQ can still push, I am open to this one. So we're trading right around the entry that I want. This would still put me at here. So I'm slightly under leveraged there, which is more than okay with me. Since NASDAQ still, in my opinion, could mitigate fully, it hasn't gone its full position. That's how I was open to it. But looking at price action is a lot better right now for the shorts on Dow. I could have waited and actually just taken the Dow short instead of taking the NASDAQ sell. So we'll see kind of what this looks like. Maybe we see Dow go higher and then this finally drops. But look at how it flipped. We kind of came into this zone a little bit slower. I literally had to wait just a minute and I would have gotten back into the zone and it wouldn't have entered me, kind of gapped me down. But it is what it is. Still within the risk rules, so that's more than okay with me. Now from here, if we're going to get just a clean sell-off, then we're looking at the market to get to right around here. This would be the exchange from what would look like the buyers to the sellers. Now here's the thing. Look, Dow still pushing down. NASDAQ not doing anything. So not the best of signs, in my opinion. This is giving me kind of the vibe that it actually could get stopped out, since we're only seeing Dow trade further down and NASDAQ is not making that same movement. Only way this is going to end up working out really is if we just kind of get, I would say maybe even lucky, and we see a price action flip. I'm already committed to the risk, so it's cool with me. But yeah, look at how bearish we've seen this for the last few minutes, and then we're seeing NASDAQ not really giving in at all. On the bright side, we do have liquidity though. So there is, I would say, motive for price to come down. So it's not that. Anyone take Dow instead of NASDAQ? If you took Dow, then you're feeling like a genius right now. You're like, yeah, I made the right choice. So, and I went ahead and I made a play on NASDAQ because we were diverging, and we technically kind of still are. Like right now in price action, Dow is definitely pushing way more aggressively and faster. But if you notice, Dow just had to go so much higher first. It had to trade way up here before it made its move down, whereas NASDAQ never had to get all the way up here. It's finally starting to push down right around here. So we'll see if the price action follows suit and we start to work our way down. Starting to lose a little bit of momentum here. Let's see. Because what we want to see right now is where the demand is. So this is kind of a good sign because we clear these highs and we can see Dow doesn't like these levels. Like the price, the buy, the orders over here, the intent was definitely not to create a bullish structure. The intention behind this move to the upside was more catered towards liquidating sellers luring in buyers, and then this is now, obviously pushing downwards. We're in a bit of profit, nothing crazy. What I like, and now we've officially gotten a mitigation here. So you have a couple options. You go break even, you tighten up your stop. A couple different ways you can go about doing that. Right now, depending if you probably got a better entry than I did, then you're sitting at maybe half hour. So we're starting to lose a little bit of steam here. I'm going to give myself a little bit of reducing risk here a little bit. And my targets right now are further down. This is to clear this liquidity, let it roll through. Remember, we have news here in 10 minutes as well. So now, looking at Dow, what did we see Dow do? When Dow made the move to the upside, it played right into the London session highs. So it mitigated the London session highs. That's the initial move that we see here. We see that there's very little demand, so we see the breakout, the push back down. Now we're seeing the typical break. I wouldn't even call this a retest or anything either. It just kind of gets below briefly. Now we want to find out, are we going to maintain structure at these levels and see more proof that we have a bearish demand, that price wants to stay trading down here, and that these levels are more reasonable. These prices are, there's just more orders. There's more of that tug of war between the bulls and the bears here. So right now we are seeing we're up about maybe like 3K or something like that. Maybe more. Let's see. I had to do a whole bunch of math, but something like that. So seeing these roll through, at the end of the day, we're over a 1R. So right now, over a 1R here, which is what matters more in my opinion than, however much we're up. It's all relative. It doesn't really matter to you. So at this point, looking at the way it's reversed, we've seen a lot of good movement, good motion. At this point, reducing risk is what makes the most sense in my opinion here. So we reduce there. Only reason I'm not going break even quite yet is just in case we continue to get more demand and we just see an imbalance fill, then we can see it work its way further down. So that's what I want to see how that goes. And if we continue to get some good trading here, like we just kind of maintain these levels, then we might just see the market come up here and then drop again, give us the good old break, retest. This lures in buyers, pulls up a bit, so the buyers get into profit, and then it rips all the way down. I like that we have liquidity here. I'm not looking for buys anymore at all here. There's no demand up here, so I don't really like the buy setups. But easily the market clearing liquidity here, or at least building up more liquidity, these are good targets for exits. So Dow hitting like this range, if it does, right? Always an if, no guarantees. But those are at least, I think, some high probability exits for the market. Incentive, the market has a lot of incentive to get there. And then if you took Dow, definitely would move stop to here. If you took the Dow trade, then it was maybe like a 30-point stop, 35-point stop. And then right now you're up like 100. So you're looking at like a 3R maybe on Dow. Decent. And then look at how NASDAQ here is playing out. NASDAQ, again, showing signs that it's losing demand up at these levels above this 22,320. Just it just doesn't want to trade up here for very long. So now same thing goes over here. We also aren't seeing a lot of trading below 22,280. Like it's just struggling to trade here. We're noticing with price action, 1 minute price action here. Dow, man, really strong, really bearish, good moves here. holding or pushing downwards much better than NASDAQ is. So looking at this, and we're 5 minutes away from dollar news, I actually like the short somewhere here. I don't know where it'll reverse from, whether it's here, whatever. But I think we could see an entry on Dow over here. So I would be more focused on that here. See how NASDAQ is starting to stall out and just not really pushing downwards the same way that Dow is? I might actually take profit on my NASDAQ trade and then see if we can just get positioned better with Dow, because right now it's building up liquidity here. See how we're pushing downwards at here? Look at that. So we're seeing that move downwards, and then NQ is kind of chilling. So like I said, this would be a good exit. I'm going to take my profit on NQ, actually. So I took profits there. And then the reason I took it is it just looks like Dow is a much better trade. So because we have news here in a few minutes, I'm going to focus on seeing if we can get a position over here somewhere. And then we can keep taking this to the downside. So that changes, right? That changes the order. And then basically now establishing, all right, what would my stop look like here? So 1 second, let me just identify that. And where is this thing? Did I delete it by accident? Oh no. Oh, here it is. Huh? What? Yeah, I'm good. All right, so here I'm just basically figuring out what my risk is going to look like if we get a nice move up there. We are 2 minutes out from it. So look at Dow. Look at Dow. Dropping nicely. Love to see it. So with this type of setup, honestly, I'm looking at around 43,250 for a short. Right around here. So 43,250. I like this setup around here. I'm gonna set a limit for this. During news events, a lot of times you can get kind of just a quick move, quick little spike. Why am I getting this alert here? Change order type. Huh? Oh. That's why. I'm not looking to buy. I'm looking to sell. And then this will be... I'll just throw this over here, but we'll adapt to that. And then get the copy trader all set in stone. All right. Cool. Positions, orders. Perfect. I think these are set. All right, so a few seconds out. Let's see if You know, this is very good or very shit. All right, news comes through. So it looks like our Dow trade would have survived this anyways, which is fine. Like I'm okay with the fact that we took profit. I think there's just a better opportunity over here anyways. So right now we're going to be seeing basically the Powell testifying. And then the logic behind this is that we have very little demand here. This has lured in kind of buyers at these last points of liquidity. So then now I'm looking to take a short where there looks to be very little demand. And I didn't take this with NASDAQ because NASDAQ isn't really trading too much lower. So there's a chance that NASDAQ maybe goes higher. I just don't have the same conviction with the setup here. So I'm staying out of NASDAQ and I'm focusing on Dow Jones over here. What are you guys doing? How do you feel about it? Did you manually exit NASDAQ? Are you letting it run? Did you guys take profit on your original sell on Dow? Or are you still holding? What's the vibe, folks? Let's see. Let me check the chat. What up, chat? What's the lot size for Dow on Top Step X? The lot size. Oh, the contract size? It's 50 cents a point for a micro. Or are you talking about a mini? Completely sniped Nas. We committed with Nas. I mean, did you marry? Or like, why? Why were you committed? What up, cousin? Dímelo, Héctor. ¿Cómo estás, bro? I can look at Bitcoin, sure. Waiting for some price action on a big time from CAD CHF. Okay. Indices popping. Took profit on NAS. Okay. So I think one of the things that hopefully you're able to take note of and advantage was I have no loyalty to an indice or no loyalty to a previous bias. So NASDAQ shorts made sense to me with the information that I had. And then as price developed, I noticed, and I could have honestly I should have just adapted to Dow once price actually started shifting here. But since we were still within the range, I was like, you know what? I think either or could still work. But once the market kept going and we kept seeing Dow trade much more bearish, that's when I realized, okay, you know what? Dow keeps dropping. NASDAQ is holding this very well. I don't think it's in my best interest, in the system's best interest, to keep holding the setup. So that's why I took profit, because I noticed there was opportunity for the market to do something like this. Whereas NASDAQ here was refusing to go anywhere near these lows and was already rebalancing. So, for example, if Dow goes up here, I have a feeling NASDAQ may go even higher. So that's why I thought, you know what, I'm better to just collect profit because the system is showing signs of reversals with this specific asset versus this asset over here. Entonces, por eso es la razón que salí de NASDAQ, era porque parecía que teníamos mejor tendencia bajista con Dow y prefería tener una entrada con mejor probabilidad, mejor riesgo recompensa por estos lados. Por eso es que decidí salir de NASDAQ por aquí. And honestly, I mean, as of right now, it looks like we made a pretty good decision. We haven't really gotten too much more, and Dow has only traded lower and lower, and this still seems like a pretty good opportunity. Voy a vender los 30 contigo. Eso, Tarantino. Juntos, ganamos o perdemos en esa. What is this thing for goal? What is this on the live stream? Goal. Make Super Chat more fun with goal. Ah, that's cool. Super Chat. Teal. So you guys get cool colors or something? I don't know what that is or how that works. But okay. Cool. Yo guys, let's get a little more exposure to the channel. I think actually I don't even know, but I'm sure if you hit that like button, if you're liking the channel, you should like the channel. All right, let's look at Bitcoin. The people have spoken. They want to look at Bitcoin. You sold Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin had a nice sweep of liquidity here, so I'll go 1 hour. I think it'll look nicer here. So you have big bull energy right here. Huge sweep. Squeeze, and then the drop. Obviously, we can tell that the drop here was luring in sellers and sellers and sellers. This was the beautiful shakeout play on a higher time frame. Lures in sellers here, incentivizes on a break and retest, and then this brings in tons of movement. Then it rips. So amazing plays. I scooped up some more crypto here, and then here I went with a little bit more. I dropped in the community when I was picking some crypto up as well. If you guys bought dog with me on this last re-entry, you should be up around 30%. So good pickups. I understand the short because you're looking to sell off of this move here. So I get that. You can always do yourself a favor by looking at how are these looking? And if you take a look at, for example, the sweep to the upside with ETH happens Friday during London session. So like, for example, with ETH, you get that move like right there. When you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin does the same thing here. All right, London session, sweep of the high. But it's already trading up here. Because of the squeeze that we're seeing with Bitcoin, we might actually make one more push up here. I feel like you might get something like this here. Also, I want to make sure I have my alerts here. I want to add the fact that Dow is still trading down here is a good sign for just bearish momentum. This is a good sign on just to follow up with indices here. So I think Bitcoin can sweep liquidity here. You know, we got money sitting here. Money sitting there. It's a nice little sweep before it drops. The setup that looks really good is this one right here. Look at these buys, guys. Look at these. Oh, yeah. This is it. This is the good stuff. Portfolio buys right there. Oh, yeah. I like this. I like this a lot. Bitcoin, so yeah, I think maybe you see another sweep on Bitcoin. This might play into this up here instead. So you might actually get a move over here. Maybe. It's possible that something like this happens. Zooming out some more, though, I do want to give the perspective. And what did we talk about, guys? What did I say when the market dipped under and went into this imbalance? What did this type of move look like it could be? Who could tell me? What was the perspective here? Is this distribution? Does this look like distribution, or does this look like something else? What do you guys think? A rebalance? Yes. To me, this looks like it can be a reaccumulation. And I'll give you an example. Here, you see it sweep into imbalance. There is no demand over here. Market comes back. Obviously, after we see a squeeze like this for months, big things happen. Same thing goes here. We trade over up into this range. Everyone loses hope right there. You see it trade into imbalance after clearing some order blocks. The market rallies again here. So as much as the reality and the truth is the following. Y'all haven't been paying attention to my sessions, and it shows. Facts. Facts. That's hilarious. Crypto sessions in the channel tomorrow. Remember, Wednesdays. It's on the calendar. Wait, actually. Oh, it's right there. Here you guys have it. Crypto with Nancy. Sometimes myself. But Nancy goes over Wyckoff every week. Like, I mean, at some point you basically go through it. So you sweep here. There is no demand, or very little. And now we've seen the market trade over here for Asian session, London session, and now actively New York. The big confirmation is if we go higher and we stay higher. So if we get above Friday's price action and we actually keep trading up here and we see like continued demand, then it's like very high confirmations that we keep pushing. And especially the reason that I don't think we're quite done is that these highs over here, sitting at like 110 and change, I think we have more to clear up here. Give me a second, because I'm starting to sound like Ben. Where is she? All right, here we go. Okay, so I wouldn't sell yet, to answer your question. Long story short. Markets are moving well, though. Biggest, look at this, best performer of the day. Sheesh. All you had to do was between Saturday and Monday, you had basically 20, like almost 48 hours to get something here. That's all that needed to be done. I made a post, I think, on Saturday here. Dog. Let's see. That's not the one I'm looking at. Dollar, crypto DCA. Added some dog, as usual. Daily dollar cost average as well. Just here to set the example. Look at that. All I need to do. %. Epic. Okay. Now, okay. We had some Dow sweeps down here. All right, cleared the lows. This did give a good mitigation there. All right. Okay. Now, on the other hand, remember this setup that we were talking about earlier? We're talking about NASDAQ, possible buys on NASDAQ. These, in my opinion, this is still valid. Down here, if we sneak our way down into this, could look Could look good. Now, this trade here, the fact that we're not getting a ton of confirmation down here. You see how we just, as of right now, we're not trading down here very well. We're seeing kind of like a battle of demand or lack of demand. So there's really not much going on over here, like in these zones over here. And then we also don't want to really trade down there. So we're in like a 43.150, 43.250, like actual tug of war. And then no little demand above it, little demand below it. So if the market, let's say from here, let's say right now, it doesn't go down anymore and it just goes higher, then we need to consider what is our actual risk reward on a trade like this. So let's say like this. I think we get easy 1Rs, which is we get okay, like the decent chance that we trade into like a 2R. Then that makes it worth it. So we'll see. Obviously, if we take this higher, then it could be better. But I like my entry here. This is like a high probability entry. And then now if we keep trading lower, then, then this, and we see demand down here, then this changes. Then our risk reward can evolve. But for now, right now, I'm not going to push the envelope on an entry too much. All right, you guys have been asking for, do you think Dog is going to flip Doge this cycle? That is ambitious. If it does, dear God, that would be about probably 100x. Actually, hold on, 10. Yeah, that'd be 100x. I think it's unlikely. And I would want to see how that evolves. I wouldn't say it's impossible in the next like 10 years, but I'm not investing into Dog with that in mind. I definitely think it can. Like logically, it should, but well, we all know the markets are not logical. They're psychological. It's sentiment based, and especially with something like a meme coin. But yeah, I'm more so looking to exit Dog based on just the overall market cycle and things. So look at this, guys. Nas setting up, leaving liquidity behind, trading way up here. Dow still trading down here. So I feel great about these shorts. I think shorts go well today. I'm wearing one of my favorite pairs. So we have to make money, right? Like that's a guarantee. You got to wear your lucky shorts if you're going to short the market. You're not wearing shorts? Babe, I think you need to change. For the greater good of Tradetopia's profits. All right, cool. You guys make sure you're, doing everything you can. The market cares. All right, let's look at gold before someone beats me up in this chat because I'm just neglecting gold. Oh, Injective, nice pump today too. Link, chain link. Oof. Look at this. Soul. Anyone pick up some Soul at down at these? We got under 130 again. Wow. When you get a major cap up 15% in 2 days, that's nice. Everyone bitching about not being able to get crypto at good prices. Like your time is gonna run out soon. Okay. Let's move on from this. Let's go look at some gold. Gold working his way down, working its magic. Played out of the zone that I marked up with you guys here. Right there. So we saw that. I missed this one. I was talking to, I think it was CJ in the chat. And we saw Nestle play out of this, right? This is pretty textbook setup. This one here pushed almost the 3R, two and change. At this point, this follows our break-even strategy. But before, I know, sorry guys, but we're starting to see the market come higher here into this zone. So wanted to just bring attention to Dow since it is coming closer. It's getting closer to the entry level that I have here. More than likely, what we see here is going to be, I think we see maybe NQ clear this, and then it drops. Or we're going to see something like this. Kind of push these, maybe a push down. Yeah, we'll see. Getting this one ready. Okay. Back to gold. So yeah, gold rejected. We saw the exchange from sellers to buyers here with this move. And then that's all it was though. Apparently market just needed to sweep some buyers, lure this back in before we just continue to the downside. So the 2R traders collected on this one. Market continues. So let's zoom out a little bit to get a better perspective on what we're seeing. Where is the market pushing towards? Like what are we seeking here? Because we already have rebalanced a lot here. Market is efficient on quite a few levels. Down here. Maybe we're trading over here. So let me get a different take here. Okay. Huge drop. Yeah. Seems like it wants to get into this zone. I don't think we've gotten, we haven't really distributed up here. So I feel like we're not quite at daily, weekly, all highs for the year or anything. Maybe we get another run up. We'll see. Obviously, when you're seeing, the market trading lower, you kind of want to find, how can I get in a buy so I can catch some of the reversal? But at the moment, I don't really see too much. Does anyone have? If you have a chart set up, let me know. Drop it in here. So I think I had the post here. All right, so I'll unpin the live stream. Post. All right, everyone's locked in. Good stuff. Oh, shout out to Sophia. Got funded yesterday. Let's go. Another syndicate member funded. Going crazy. Alert. Euro USD alert. We can come back to gold. I don't really see any setups. Maybe they'll unfold later on. So what did gold just get into? 4 hour. Dude, the euro is kicking the dollar's ass. Okay, we were already up here. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, while that's going on, we're getting Dow to rally. Starting to push up more and more. We're about 20 30 points away from this entry. Interestingly enough, now NASDAQ is chilling. So my guess is we clear some of this trending, like these cells right there. We clear this, and then whether it gets up just above it or above all of it, and then I think the short, that'll probably push us into the entry. That's my hypothesis here with the market. So let's see if this clears it. Okay, there we go. Get some, keep going. Let's go, Nas. Let's accelerate this. And then this becomes a quick rebalance and then a quick drop too, is how I think it's going to go. All right, so what chart do I have up here? What is this? Yeah, we're trading way up here. This already rejected this area, so I think we've already rebalanced this here. And USD CAD, that's the one that we were waiting for. All right. Okay. Let's go. We may be doing a couple things here at the same time, so stay organized. USD CAD approaching the zone. That means that CAD futures has to be very close. All right. Like what I'm seeing here, folks. I like what I'm seeing here. Actually, it should already be in there because this gap's up from there. So this is basically there. So I like the short on this as well. So let me pull up. Canadian futures. My entry is going to look something like this. Oh, is it going to short already? Nah, bruv. That's not part of the plan. Can't be doing that. We're not in yet. Can't be doing all that. Yeah, there's a lot of liquidity over here, so I think I'd take it up to like there. Just shy of a 3R. Decent. 0.73445 for the futures short. 73.44.5. Stop goes there. 6C. All right, looks like if I were to take this, all right, probably drop a contract on this one. Just one. One little guy right there. What? Oh, okay. That's why. Let's set it up there. Okay, so right now we are starting to see a drop on Dow, kind of coming down here after NASDAQ also dropping significantly. We haven't really gotten up to here yet, so I'm going to kind of wait and see what the next move is, how this pushes along if we get up here again. So going to wait on that. In the meantime, I'm going to pull up Canadian futures here. Psych. Wow, that played out of there real quick. Not quite a mitigation or anything quite yet, but it could be. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm looking for the contract for Canadian futures. There it is. There it is. And now I can set my limit here, and it'll copy over. Okay, that's cool. That's gravy now. And then I need to go back, make sure this is good. Cool. So what's good? What's up with this? I think we're getting pretty close. There we go. Dow getting pretty close to the entry. Up into this zone. Here we go. And Q here still squeezing, moving sideways. What the only thing I don't like about the trade, I'm gonna take it, but what I'm not loving about it is how it's now kind of going to the upside a bit more faster than NASDAQ is. So here, like we're seeing price action, and Q is kind of making the lower lows, the lower highs, while Dow is making slightly shifting more to the upside. After the whole time, it wasn't doing that. So we'll see if this kind of evens out right now in the next couple minutes, which it kind of is. All right, so once this sounds off, then that's the sign of a good time. Which is, it's kind of setting up how I wanted it to, where it might just sweep this once and then make the move. But now we just tapped into the zone, so technically it could mitigate right out of here. So, you know, technically, when you don't trade right out of the open, which I really never do, this is like if you want guaranteed entries, then you know you set your position right on the open. If you want better risk reward, then you know you take it anywhere else within the range. Let's see if this is going to be the case today. If NQ sweeps these highs and that doesn't take me into the order, then like let's say it just gets me short again, then I'll manually short it. But let's see. I want to see if NQ pushing higher is going to push Dow higher or not. And it looks like it's only pushing it lower. What the fuck? Oh, classic. All right, look at this. Now we're starting to see NQ clear some of these highs. Okay, here we go. So now I think if this was to take out as much liquidity as possible, it would move all the way up to here. It would sweep these highs and then make the drop. If I'm just thinking like in the mind of those that run this shit, it would clear this and then make the drop. So if it does push like this, clearing this high here, once it does, that's when if we don't get activated here, I'm gonna manually take a position. All right, let's see. But we did clear this. Now, the reason it's like, okay, oh, it kind of looks like it could drop. Should I get in? Well, if you do, then your RR just becomes relatively trash. Sub 1R, that isn't it for me, at least. And I'm okay with missing out if things like that happen sometimes. So that's the piece that I've come to. You don't have to trade like that. You can do whatever you want. That's my take. Staying patient. Remember, right? Manage your thoughts, manage your emotions, manage your actions. Sip on that tea. TEA, thoughts, emotions, actions, in that sequence. Reminder: what you think is not and what you feel is not necessarily your reality. See, so I mean, we're doing a pretty good job. I think the market traded up here, kind of losing momentum. Still think we can go higher. And these points mattered. I mean, at least to me, like these 25 points, because of how I'm trading this intraday, small time frame structure, it does make a difference. It changes the risk reward completely. So let's say if you were trading the 15 1 hour from a bigger perspective, then it doesn't matter, right? It's like, oh, well, like maybe not as significant. If your stops are hundreds of points, then it might not make a difference, but my stops aren't, just because of how I'm trading this specifically. It's not worse or it's not better. It's just a different approach to the market, taking advantage more of these intraday, intra-session movements. So, yeah. Let's see if my perspective here, if my hunch on how liquidity is gonna form today or for this session, if it's right or if it's wrong. And the thing is, it's like, we're not here to be right. We're just here to get the best probabilities, get good risk reward, and have a good setup. So that's all I want here. So look at how the market actually went above, and then now we're starting to lose some, like we're seeing the market push down, okay? Here on NQ. So it did clear liquidity that we saw over here. We're seeing a market losing a bit of demand, so we might end up seeing this then. Look at Nas. Nas pushing down. All right. Let me look at the chat. What's your approach with this, guys? How are you looking at the market now? What's your take? Are you gonna wait? Are you trading something different? Just like, you know what, man? Screw indices in general. Nice squeeze here so far. Following up on USD CAD, the move here, and this is something that you can always do. Use the replay tool. Go to like the zone that you're interested in. So that takes us to here. And then we can see price action. It's as specific as it can get. So here was where the market, 1 minute, here's 59, here is the jump. So this is where we gap up to. That's why I have my zone specifically right here. So I think it's precise. I'd say that we kind of just missed it. Got pretty relatively close. Market moving down. So if this were to mitigate, I don't think we're quite there yet. I feel like we'd have to drop basically to where we see structure right there. And it looks like it could. So if it does happen like that, then I probably wouldn't chase this. So do you see how we've kind of basically slowed down completely here? Just squeezing sideways. It's like the calm before the storm. So this is usually a sign of big movements happening. Like something is building up. Okay, look at how we're now, NASDAQ is starting to clear these highs. We got just a little bit more to take out this one up here. And I think, like I said earlier, play by play, market takes these highs. That could trigger this divergence here that we have set up. Tags us in. Boom, just did that. Okay, so I'm going to manually sell. Delete my limit. Only because we already saw it go down there. So that's why I got in now instead of waiting, which I could have waited, right? But the reason I did it manually is since we saw the sweep of the high and play into this imbalance over here, from here, if the market wants to just sweep and then pull down, it might not give me the entry. So that's why, I did what I did. So would this have triggered me in? Yes, it would have. Now I just need to double check that I'm active in all these. And yes, it is active. All right. So now the trade, now it's either we win or we lose. Risk has been established. Right now we're seeing the market rebalancing a bit more up here on NQ, which is cool. That's all gravy. And let's see if this is enough to see an exchange from sellers to buyers, and if we see the market work its way down, there's some liquidity here. This puts us at, instead of a this is the downside, is that this no longer is a 2R. This drops down to like a 1.5R, which I'm not a big fan of. It's all good. And then I have my stop right there. So worst case, minus 1R. Based on how we look at things, and we'll also see based on how NQ is dropping, because NQ has a ton of liquidity here. So we'll see if where we can work this down to. So because we swept the highs, like I had mentioned, that's when I decided to pull the trigger. Didn't know if it was going to go higher or lower, so I played out basically what was in my power, which was what I had in that moment. If I had just waited a minute, then I would have gotten my entry. But after waiting all this time, all the market conditions were set, so now we see. And because of how efficient everything is looking over here, pull back to here, sometimes you can get away with like your stop like right there instead. So if I was sized in and I really felt like, okay, this is super efficient, and then I could have gone with a stop here, and then my contract size could have been a little bit different. But either way, not a bad deal here. And what I do like is that we are going with the better play. So we have lower highs still on Dow, at least for now. And then we saw NQ doing this. So we see that divergence. Now we see if we get that next push. Zooming out a little, getting a bit of a better context here with the market. As you guys have seen time and time again, we have the market struggles to get a ton of to want to trade below 43,150, which is why this is the exit I'm looking for. So instead of getting greedy and maybe it does want to go lower, and there's definitely reasons why it could go lower. Tons of liquidity, tons of imbalance. This is just a high probability play, is to play it from over here. If we get different types of, like if the market starts to look and print really different, and we have different type of, confirmation, let's say this just immediately comes down into this, then, maybe we can look at a different exit strategy, but that's further down the line. As of right now, I'm not too focused on that. We're just gonna kind of play it as the market unfolds. All right, and then actively looks like dang, look at this was the mitigation, was this. So if you shorted, I know USD CAD was a lot more, I'd say, like it did tap right into it, and now it's mitigating. Either way, this would have missed my entry because I wanted to trade it right out of there, where we saw this last little like resistance. That's what I wanted to do. So either way, wouldn't have been in. Okay, right now, don't like this. NQ making lower lows. Dow. All right, NQ, you can keep dropping. That's fine. Just take Dow with you. All right, let me know. Yo, chat, who's in this? Do you guys take this with me? Did you decide to stay out of the market? What is your approach with this? And then let me know in the chat as well. Who's here? Who's trading their demo, funded, personal account? What's the word? All right, starting to get a little bit of a move. What's good, chat? Are you in NQ or YM? I'm in YM. Yeah, I took Dow shorts. Powell speaking, can spike us in whenever. Facts. I'm going to wait. Clear signs of manipulation before looking to trade. This is a clear sign of, this right here was that sign. Sweeps the high. This cleared out liquidity. This cleared out London session. Played into over here. I mean, that was my setup, right? That was my interpretation. Stayed patient, waited for Dow entry. What's up, Denise? What's good? NYM sell. Demo account still. Got to double it to 100K before I switch to funded. Why? You have to make 100% growth before you switch to funded? I mean, like, that's ambitious for sure, but that's... What's your risk like? What's your RR like? Who told you that's what you should do? Just curious to all of that. Because trading just demo for that long, as great as that can be, you do want to introduce some sort of like stakes so that there's a bit more, so you can work with the emotions of having something on the line, whether it's your own money, obviously a very little bit, or you paid for a challenge or a prop firm or something like that. So I definitely believe that there is such a thing as being in a demo for too long. I was told by educators, well, I don't give a fuck who your educators are. I don't think it makes sense to just do that for too long, because it's just not real. Like, you're just never experiencing real pain, real hesitation, real doubt. So that's my take. Whether I'm right or I'm wrong, I'm just telling you how I look at things after 10 years. I think some people, like, all of a sudden you're shocked when you get into like even a small account, because it's like, oh wait, damn, like there's something on the line. So yeah, that's just my take. Of course, no hate on anybody. It's just demo's only good as being able to to learn more about your system. But then at some point, yeah, like if you're in there for months, and months, then you don't learn how to trade in a more real environment. 6C is Canadian futures. Practicing is fine on demo, but trading demo for 10 years, not the goal. Exactly, David. David knows, man. I mean, I started with like 45K and I'm still in profit, so maybe it's try funded. If you took your account from 45K to 57,000, you got to remember that's that's like, let's see, what, that's up 12K, 45, 12. That's up, you're up 25%. That's good. It's fantastic, especially, and it will matter how much you're risking per trade. I would look at it in an RR perspective, and also I would look at it in a discipline perspective. So how well are you trading the system that you're trading? And if you feel like, okay, I have my entry strategy down, my exit strategy down, I have my, I'm kind of manage my trade in a specific way, I'm not over leveraging, then okay, yeah, go and experience something, fund it, $100, fund it a couple $100. Do a $50 challenge, $100 challenge or something, inch your way in, and then, okay, you experience a new level of stakes. You experience a new level of risk. All right, now that you're working with that, then, you learn new things going through new experiences like that. Only part is I'm still struggling with picking the right correlated asset. So yeah, keep working it with the demo then. That's cool. Because you need to experience because you're not going to feel greed if nothing is real. You're gonna start to feel greed when you're like, I could make an extra $50. I could make an extra 100. I can make an extra 1,000. If I do this, I could actually make an extra 10,000. Now all of a sudden, there's going to be thoughts and desires that you wouldn't normally have on a demo. On this one, you're going for 1 to 2. At the moment, I'm looking to exit around at 43,150. So where we see all of this demand, you see how we kind of reject this level pretty frequently. This is where I'm targeting at the moment. Yeah, it's kind of battling out this zone right here. And this is not surprising to me. This is a key level. Like, we've seen it reject here quite a bit, over here, over here, over here. So this is like the it's like the battlefront is right there in terms of how money is moving here. Dow is moving. It's in a pretty tight range. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Nice. And what's with news? Doesn't matter. Just flowing. What's with news? But yeah. So yeah, that's my take. I think if someone told you, hey, double your account, I don't know if I trust that person, to be honest. Just because, like, all right, if you're trading, it depends on the risk reward or like your risk on your account. But that might require you to do 100R, right? 100R might take you, a good trader, it might take them 10 months. So if that's okay with you, run it up. But I'd say you're better off feeling something. Because you need to learn how to work with your emotions. You're never going to become a robot. People say, oh, you need to feel nothing. It's like, well, clearly they don't know what they're talking about. You're a human being. It's impossible to feel nothing. Unless you're a actual, like, sociopath, which I believe no one here is. So outside of that, then it's not about feeling nothing. It's learning how to filter your feelings, how to filter your emotions. My situation is a little complicated. I wasn't trading around money, but there's a lot of stuff I'd like to do that is tied directly into doubling the account. So every loss felt like a huge setback. So there's a lot of stuff I'd like to do that's tied directly into doubling that account. Well, these are all things you've determined for yourself. These are all self-defined, situations. So redefine them. Because if you're attached to a loss, then we need to expand our understanding of trading. Trading is, you need to be detached to the loss because you've already committed to a specific type of loss. All right, you've already committed to, like, this is the risk I have to lose in order to win. It's not like there is no other way around it. Like, it's the only way you can go about doing this. It's like, I need to be able to lose in order to be able to win. And because one trade is not trading. Trading is, the culmination, the accumulation of 50, 100, 150, 1,000 trades over the course of months, and months, sometimes weeks, months, etc. But that's like what you really come down to. Yeah. So expose yourself to a little bit of risk exposure, and then scale, like, work your way through that. For sure. All right, so to do a recap here, just so we get a good perspective on what's going on with the market. So Dow looks like cleared the highs again, traded up to here before we are working our way down a little bit here. Maybe we do or don't drop, not sure yet. Whereas NQ, on the other hand, is kind of trading a bit lower. Like, we're seeing on the small time frames, we're seeing lower highs on NQ, while Dow is giving us higher highs here on this, like, 1 minute, like just a small range of time within the last, 15 minutes or so. So a couple interesting things. We're seeing the market build up over here. So curious if we see NQ sweep liquidity down there, and then where does that take Dow? So the market right now, when it's squeezing sideways like this, sometimes we see them kind of go back and forth on price action. So I want to see where we get to, because this might push Dow below, but I don't know if it's going to stay below. However, if we happen to kind of break below this, then it looks like that would be the, kind of like the mitigation. So if we do crack below these lows, then I'm going to tighten up my stop. Seems like NQ could break through some of this trendline liquidity as well. So let's see if that's going to be the case. How often do you do YouTube lives? I live here. Yeah, I live here now. This is my home. I'm basically Monday through Friday. I'm on for anywhere for 90 minutes to 2 hours for free. Hey guys, if this hits stop loss, someone's got to send me a super chat so Nancy can eat, because I'm fasting until Thursday. Yeah. Hey, y'all should join me. Join me on my fast. 3-day fast. Should I trade before or after work? I currently work 8 to 6. Trade during. Get fired. Before, yeah. Un poquito de español. Pues hablamos de muchas cosas. Okay, look at how we're clearing lows here, and NQ is melting through this. I don't love this trade anymore. I'm going to be honest. I don't love this Dow short. We're not really pushing the way I would have wanted this to. So right now we've pushed about 57 points. I think we're going to get stopped out. Honestly, I would have this happened so fast. I would have probably preferred to just manually exit this trade. It's not very good looking. En español, básicamente no, en este momento vemos que el Nasdaq tiene más impulso hacia abajo, entonces hubiera preferido en verdad salir. Se ve que esto no nos está dando el mejor tipo de movimiento. Mira cómo el mercado cae y sube. Entonces se está absorbando todas las compras acá. Entonces creo que aquí es muy posible que nos saque stop loss. Si regresamos un poco más cerca, creo que voy a sacar aquí la jugada. Prefiero una pérdida un poco más mínima que cualquier otra cosa. No me está encantando la acción de precio en este momento. So at any point, honestly, I could have already. I can still exit, I guess, if I wanted to. Now, one thing is that it's interesting is we're seeing NQ like flew up to here, and Dow didn't go crazy. Like it didn't just blast through the highs, go trade over here. So honestly, there might be a shot that this actually comes down. Copium, maybe. Do what I do and train during. Then, if anybody has a problem with it, just get fired and go to a night job. Oh man. Are you 8 to 6? So to give you a real answer, Salvador, I'm sorry, I troll too much. 8 to 6, what time zone? But yeah, I would say probably you could trade before that. You can usually get London, New York session overlap things. Otherwise, if you're going to trade in the evening during Asian session, look at some Asian session pairs. Gold also can give you some opportunity. Weight fast or spiritual, a little bit of both. I would say 75 fast for some body. You got to kill some little body fat there. Yeah. If trade hits TP, we join the fast. Yeah. Let's go. What do you do during your fast? Straight water. Water. Some coffee. Walking. Some good activity. Do what I normally do. All right, guys, y'all ready to get stopped out here? What's interesting is look at how Nasdaq is now making higher highs. Dow still chilling. Still chilling here. Do we see the divergence come into play here and give us something? Nope, doesn't look like it. Wow, that was hilariously close. So, I mean, technically, I could have had this up here, I guess, instead of having it right there. Like, this could have been right there, you know, but we'll just keep it right here. Let's see. Maybe we survive this thing. Especially now that we cleared these highs. Maybe NQ wants to pull back. Where did NQ go to? Way up here. Interesting. Close off for half R. Word. Se hunde el barco, se hunde el barco. Okay, let's see. All right. We're pretty close, so I'm just going to basically stay on until we either get stopped out or we get back over here somewhere. But look at this. It's interesting. We break above, and then are we just not going to see a lot of demand up here? Or what are we going to see here? If you wanted to take a minimized loss, now would be that example. I like the fact that we kind of have some divergence going on. Like NQ still went higher and Dow is still not. So I'm gonna roll the dice on this one. Trade management wise, I think we're pretty good. Like I kind of want to see this play out. Maybe I take my exit right over here since we saw this nice little wick down. So let's see. If NQ keeps trading lower and it doesn't, like, it breaks below this here, now my curiosity is piqued for sure. But do you guys see, you notice how what I talked about earlier, where it's like, okay, we can see NASDAQ clear liquidity here. We want to see how the market responds to that, and that'll give us a good idea of what the market can do. That is what we saw happen here. The problem was that it just happened so fast that there was very little response time. So that was kind of the downside to that, because otherwise we had it come down here, and we did have a chance to either exit with minimal risk exposure. So let's see what we got. This right here, we're seeing the battle. That's the frontier again. The battlefront. If we break through, then this more than likely trades down to here. Dow leading the bearish push too. There's honestly, this is a pretty good sign, because now we are seeing where the indication is that Dow is more bearish. But let's zoom out a little, just because I want you guys to see something, get a different perspective. Now, when we look at the market this way, there is a lot more demand up here. Like, the market is trading here. We're clearly seeing an exchange of buyers and sellers at this range. So to stay in shorts for too long, I think is just a bit more ambitious over anything. Whoa. Didn't expect that right there. So even with that, we're still in this thing. So a lot is going on over here. Yeah, getting a ton of movement. So NQ clearing highs again. Now we've cleared this above here. So make your choice if you want to just kind of commit to because now this rebalanced here right away. So honestly, wouldn't be surprised if the market wants to just continue its movement to the upside. Whoa, what just happened? Here we go. Dow holding on here. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take my losses here. Took a half R. Wow, as soon as I closed it. Take a half R there. I think I'm okay with what the market looks like at the moment. Wasn't like the best. We're not seeing the best price action anymore. So I'm chilling with what the market has to show us here. And so what you might see is a little bit more of this dropping back into this range. But yeah, so I'm cool with that. Acceptance of a small loss. I'd rather go with it that way. The market is not giving us the best of signs, especially when we saw this just kind of wick into this area. The market's now, again, efficient, comes back up. So the market efficient here, coming back up. Originally, when we wanted to trade, or at least when I was looking to short this, it was because we were getting more demand over here, and this was just an imbalance. You know, we saw the market clear the high, work its way down. This lures in more buyers. So when we came over to this zone, price action should just kind of come up and then drop. But the problem is that the market traded here for so long that it 100% showed us that, no, there's definitely demand for these prices. So the trade was assuming that there wouldn't be a lot of demand and the market would kind of come back up and back down. So the fact that now we're getting tons of demand up here, it kind of takes away from this idea in the first place. So clearing this now. Now we have a different overall outlook on the market. Can just clear up everything here, kind of reset for a different perspective. Now when you look at the market here, what we know is that we had the sweep of liquidity here. Market hasn't quite made a higher high yet. That would be ideal for a new setup. So we see, let's say we see the confirmation here. Then we would want the market to work its way down to here. Ideally gets here after NQ drops. And because we saw NQ do the same thing over here. So NQ may or may not go below this. We'll see how the market rallies here. And then NQ dropped, came back up. It already kind of traded down to this a few times. So we'll see how the market works its way down. I'll play some alerts to see what this will look like. But at the moment, once we start getting a bit closer to the zone, I'll keep my eyes set on this. So here is Dow Jones. And so hopefully you guys learned a bit about trade management, being able to work with price action, adapting to your mindset. So for example, we took that NQ trade that I think we were up about half an R. We ended up going wash because NQ was up about 1 R. So we took profit on 1 R. And then Dow, we were maybe like half R or something. And then just adapted to both sides of the trade. So, which is cool. So hopefully you guys are learning to, one, just have the market lead you. Let the market show you its signs rather than just, trading what you want, trading what you thought. If the market gives you new information and it's relevant, then don't just dismiss it because you want your original thought to be right. So we'll see. But something like this is what I like with Dow. So I'm gonna go ahead and update this one here. And then let's add a little bit of US 30. Okay. So see you guys in there. If you're not in the community, make sure that you're diving in there. All right. It's pinned. The link is pinned at the top. So click that, and then we will accept you if you're not a degenerate. Well, even if you are a little bit of a degenerate, that's fine. But the right type of degenerate will allow you in. So, yep, good stuff, guys. Overall, decent day, half R after a couple manual exits, which is actually out of the ordinary. I don't usually manually exit like that, but with all the choppy conditions that we were seeing and the price action kind of flipping bias, bullish, bearish between the correlated assets, I would say it's one of those days where definitely advanced awareness makes a difference. I will add, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some big movement later in today's day. So with all of this sideways movement, there's a pretty good chance we're going to see some pretty big movement. Maybe we get the push down, and then from there we rocket up again. But that's about it. So if you enjoyed the session, keep plugging in. Take advantage of the community. There's a lot to learn in there. And then if you're someone who just wants way more hands-on work, go ahead and apply for the syndicate. And remember that tomorrow we are going to be going over the retreat. And where that is, it'll be in one of the dopest places that we like to go to, and you guys are going to have a great time. So anyways, see you tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow, let's see. No. All right. Tomorrow we'll be here on YouTube. Same time as usual. On Thursday, I'm more than likely to host a private Zoom in our community before we go live on here. So enjoy the rest of your day. Journal your trades and stay locked in. Peace out, guys.